Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 11 of FTB Infinity Evolved Skyblock with me, Reliikgaming. And yeah, it was kind of a busy day yesterday. First of all, I had a visit from one of the other YouTubers on the server, Rupnerd, and he's given me these items here. So, in case you've never seen these before, these are from the RF Tools mod. The matter transmitter and the receiver, along with a power source, which incidentally is linked up to power in his base because I've got nothing like the kind of power needed for this, and the dialing device. And what this allows you to do is teleport to, in fact, let's not jump on that right now, is to teleport to other similar setups. So there's one of these is on his base, and also TechnoJock has got one on his base. So it just means that we can jump about between bases, which allows us to easily help each other, join in episodes, etc., etc. And there's also going to be another island set up, kind of like a central hub, where, well, I don't really know what we're going to be doing on there yet. But yeah, it's just something where we can sort of go and set some stuff up, I suppose. I don't really know. We'll have to wait and see how that pans out. But as a result of having those, I did pop over and see the other two guys that I just mentioned. I saw their base. Kind of wish I hadn't of, because they are miles ahead. Their bases look absolutely fantastic, and it's made me really think I need to raise my game. And on that basis, I kind of like started a bit of a base redesign. So all of the auto sieving situation that I had going on here that looked absolutely horrific, I've now moved that all down to the lower level, which I shall just jump down and show you. So it's now all nicely in lines. It's not all stacked up on top of each other. And I've made the bits that I needed to complete a sand sieving line. So we've got the full set now, gravel, sand and dust. And that is all going down into the chest and along this pipe up into the caches. And yeah, so it looks a whole lot better. It's a bit more efficient as well, because I've sorted the power out. We've got the power running along a single line here, and I also created another couple of water wheels just to handle the extra requirements from adding the sand sieving line. And then with the water wheels themselves, I've actually made a change to all of these. So you can see that they've got this piece in here now. They're actually a block higher. And the reason is, if you remember back when I did the episode on water wheels, I said, making the full efficiencies look quite complicated at the time, and I was just going to use the sort of 3 blocks of the water at the top. Well, turns out that you lose quite a lot of potential power from doing that, so I was just having to create more and more of these blocks, which it essentially uses the same materials. You still have to build the water wheel, so you're still using as much creosote and sticks and time to get it all done. And for the sake of a little bit of investment in watching a tutorial on how to actually sort of get this done properly, I just felt that I was kind of cheating myself a bit. I was probably cheating you guys a bit by not doing the fully efficient version. So that said, I'm not going to show you how I actually did that in this episode, because I feel that we've spent enough time on water wheels. But what I am going to do is I'm going to do a full tutorial on it, so as a separate video, and yeah, it'll be my first tutorial. Quite excited about doing that actually. So I'll set myself up in a creative world, and I'll just go through all the steps that you need to go to get this running at the max efficiency, which is 88 RF per tick for all of these. So I've also changed the connectors on here from LV to MV connectors, and the main reason being that I wanted to get rid of the transformers that we had. I was having a little bit of a problem with them, that you seemed to only be able to connect one lot of wires in, so a wire in and a wire out, and yeah, it was just kind of making things a bit messy and a bit awkward. So I've connected them all up to this MV connector here, which is properly now going through this capacitor, which it wasn't before, because if you remember, I had all the ins and outs in one place. I didn't realise that the 2 orange dots was the output line, and therefore the energy was filling up the capacitor, but the energy in the capacitor was never actually being utilised. So when I had shortfalls during the sieving process, It wasn't using the capacitor, so it was a bit of a wasted block. But that's rectified that now, and that's had an added bonus that the monitoring of power is now kind of possible, semi-possible, because when this starts to run down, I know that something's broken, and I can sort of take action to go and fix that, or sort of make some extra power, whatever. And if that's positive or full, then yeah, everyone's happy days. So before I go on, I will just say that this is the second time that I've recorded this episode. Last night when I recorded it, unfortunately, my recording software crashed midway through and I didn't notice. And as a result, I built a whole ton of stuff. And yeah, you wouldn't have seen any of it. So, for better or for worse, what I've done is I've torn it all down, I've thrown it all into the void, and we're going to sort of start that process again because, as I say, I really didn't want you to miss any of the stuff. And yeah, the final thing I'll say before I crack on is, in terms of how fast things are moving along, I'd kind of really appreciate some input from you guys. Would you prefer me to do more stuff off camera so that you can see faster progress, sort of during the episodes, maybe make some of the easier machines and that, or are you happy with the pace that things are going? So any kind of feedback is always greatly appreciated, and as you've seen in the past, I do read my comments. So that said, let's get on. So the first thing that I want to do is to grab the induction smelter. Now that's going to require another basic machine frame, a couple of invar gears, some bits of invar, and I think a redstone reception coil and a bucket. And the reason why I want to create that is basically very similar to why I wanted the pulverizer, and that is it's moving us forward through the pack sort of very, very slowly, but also it's giving us a little bit more flexibility over the handling of ingots. So obviously with the pulverizer you can make the blended versions of stuff like, say, the invar and the electrum, etc. And with the induction smelter, you can just throw the ingots in and it will blend it itself. So yeah, it's just giving us a bit more flexibility away from the smeltery, which does seem to sort of cause us problems when we start mixing stuff together. Nothing wrong with Tinker's Construct at all, purely because I'm very forgetful. And oh yeah, forgot to tell you about this. Just sort of semi-automated this. I banged down a chest and a transfer node so that I can keep this smeltery for now 2 blocks high, but I haven't got to worry about only having the sort of small buffer that I've got. So in order to make the invar gears, then we are going to need to make some invar. Well, I've actually got a little bit, I think, I've got a little bit of the stuff left over from yesterday's disaster. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a little bit more iron because we'll need more than that. So where are we? I think potentially I used all the iron that I had yesterday. So let's just grab a block out from there, and that should be good enough to get us started. And what we'll do is we'll go and throw that in the pulverizer, and then we'll make up some of the invar blend. We can then pop that blend directly into the smeltery, and we won't have to worry about turning this on or off. I'm going to leave that iron in there for a moment because I think I'm going to need it for something else that we're going to do after. So anyway, enough waffling. Let's stick the iron first of all. In fact, let's turn it into ingots, which would be great. So I'm going to stick the iron in there first of all. So the invar, I think it's a 2-to-1 ratio. So 2 iron for every 1 ferrous ingot. So we're going to be able to make 7. We're going to be able to make 7 ingots there, which isn't going to be enough actually. So I'm going to go and grab myself another block because we need, say, 2 invar gears, and that uses 4 ingots each, and then we need another 2, so we need 10 ingots in total. So therefore we're going to need 20 iron. So the 9 plus this, and I'm going to have to grab another block as well. In fact, no, I'm talking rubbish. I think actually you get 2. Yeah, I think you get 2 ingots of invar actually for every one of those ratios. Something like that. Right. there's our pulverized iron coming through, and I guess we've just got to wait for that to finish because I don't really want to start anything else. Let's try and keep on track with just one thing. So I'll be back when it's done that. Okay, so that's now finished. So we'll just grab out the powder, and if I just pop that into, I can just do it directly in this crafting grid. So just split that in half, pop that in there, and then that turns into Invar blend. As I say, we can now go and throw that into the smeltery or, well, any other furnace and just pop it into there. We should be able to then see that that's now, we've got some iron in there still, but when that eventually does get through, we should now see that that turns, in fact, I'm going to take that iron out of there, turns into Invar. And while we're waiting for that, I just kind of want to talk about power output for a while. I don't think I'm going to get around to doing it in this episode, but I was kind of having a little bit of a think about power, and I actually had a little bit of a play around in a creative world just to sort of see what different types of power were available to us. And another option that we kind of have early on is steam power. So we can use either the steam dynamo from, I think that's from Thermal Expansion, and also we can use the industrial steam engine, or any of the industrial steam engine, commercial steam engine, or hobbyist steam engine, but the industrial one is the top output one and has the same outputs as the steam dynamo. So we can use that. That's from Railcraft. We can use that and combine it with either the low, I think it's the low pressure or high pressure steam boiler, which is another multi-block thing from Railcraft. Now, the only problem with that is that it does kind of use a lot of coal, and the reason why I was thinking about it, and like I said, I'm not necessarily going to do this, is just kind of like trying to share some of my thoughts with you, is because the assembly table uses a lot of power, and I do have to use it quite often because of the whole thing that we need chipsets for pretty much everything that we're making, it seems. And every time I use this, the whole sort of process downstairs with the auto sieving takes a hit, as does anything else that I'm using, because it uses so much power. And you can make this kind of setup, and I practiced this in creative world earlier, whereby if you have the maximum height pressure boiler, and I used a low pressure boiler, so it was a 3 by 4 by 3 multi-block, and you sort of you can couple that up with, I think it was like 7 of the industrial steam engines. They would then power around about 8 of the assembly tables at full power with no power loss, and that would make the whole process of getting, say, machine frames, etc., pretty quick, actually. I mean, obviously, once we get into big reactors and stuff like that, which we will do later on, then we're going to have massive power, so we can have whole banks of these things. But for early game, just to try and speed things along, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So anyway, just to let you know, I might be doing that sort of over the next couple of episodes. So this should have all finished now. Let's just have a quick check in there. And we're still waiting for it because we're full up on iron at the moment. So let's just dump some of this iron out so that we can get our Invar in there. And yeah, that's slowly coming through now. Okay, so we've sometime later got our couple of Invar gears, and we're just going to need to swap that over for the... I can't put that up at the set, right. We're just going to have to swap that over quickly for the ingot cast so that we can get a couple of ingots of this out as well. In fact, did I check to see if we've got any ingots of this already? Yeah, we have. There's a couple of ingots there already. So we'll grab that. And the next thing that we're going to do is put all the pieces together for the machine frame. So in order to do that, I am going to need a bucket, which we've got there. Actually put it into the hotbar would be great. I'm just going to get rid of some of this stuff that I've got in my inventory quickly, because I don't need to be holding quite all of this stuff. So let's just pop a load of that down and empty this water bucket out. Now I suspect because it's rained again, this will be full of water again, which it is. So let's just empty that out as well. Then we'll grab some lava and we will pop that in there. Grab the obsidian out, bit more lava, pop that in there, grab the obsidian out. So let's go and grab those 2 bits of obsidian. And we can pop those into the rock crusher. And just making sure that was powered up. So we'll put those in there. And we'll move away from that because that is quite loud when it gets going. And we're also going to need to use the carpenter again. Just make sure I just actually did put my, it's even loud from here, put my redstone down. So now we are going to need a bucket of water. And I've now, I thought I'd got myself stuck into a bit of a hole there. So into the carpenter, and we'll pop the water in there. And we didn't want any more of those. That was part of what I was doing last night. What we actually need is to pop this in here. How do we actually get rid of a recipe in there? Do we just, we just click it. In fact, we wanted to keep the redstone. Right, so we're going to put 6 bits of redstone in there and was it 3 bits of iron? For a refined circuit board. Let me just double check that it was the refined circuit board that we needed. Let's just go back into the induction smelter before I go off on a tangent and make the wrong thing, which of course is not unheard of me. No, it is the intricate circuit board. No, it was. It was actually the intricate circuit board. I'm surprised by that. No, it's the basic circuit board. It's a piece of tin. Sorry, I will get this right in a minute. So let's just get that out. And pieces of redstone seem to... Yeah, there we go. Right, so that is now making... Let's get that refined one out of there. That is now making this, is it? I felt like it should be. Let's put the redstone in there. Yeah, and that's now going to make the basic circuit board. So while that's doing that, let's just grab our obsidian out of here and we'll pop that onto the assembly table. Then we'll grab this out and we'll put that onto the assembly table as well. Now I'm hoping that in this chest is an iron chipset, which there is. So we're going to need to have one of those as well. And what else are we missing? Let's just have a quick look and see. Just wait for that to scroll through. Again, that still annoys me, the fact that you have to wait for that to scroll to the basic one and then quickly get it. Yeah, so we need a tin gear and some of this dense refined iron plate, which is going to require us to pop some normal refined iron plates into the... There we go. We need 9 of them into the compressor. So let's get these hammered out first of all. So we want to just drop 2 of those. So we need 9 of those. So we'll get that running. And we'll go and grab ourselves a tin gear. I'll have a quick look around and just see if I've got one lying around first of all before I go off and make one. There's a gold one in there. And it doesn't look as though we have. So let's just grab a couple more pieces of tin. In fact, we only need 4 of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of tin. I'm just going to quickly let out some more of this iron. Let's actually switch it over to iron before we start letting out all of the invar. So let's just get some more of that out. I'm not really sure why I made so much iron, to be honest. I know I want to keep it in there just in case I need to make gears, but I don't know. Maybe I should just let that run and let it out and put some more in there as I need it. So let's just turn that off for a second, because then, is that still, yeah, that's finished. Let's just wait for this. It's invar. Why have I put invar in there? That was not what I wanted to put in there. Okay, let's just let that smelt up, and I'll just cut away again for a second while I'm waiting for that. Okay, so we can grab our tin gear and just wait for that to finish, and then we can pick it out of the chest. There we go. and our plates should be finished and ready to go into the compressor as well. Just make sure how much power we got in this. Yeah, plenty. So let's grab our 9 plates and put those into the compressor like so. And once that is done, we can press the go button on the assembly table. Let's just give that a couple of minutes. Don't think it's going to need a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds more like. And there we go. So there is the dense plate. So we'll pop that into there as well. And then we'll put in the tin gear. And there we go. So that will now start to... Hopefully that'll start to do something. Yeah, there go our lasers working away. I'm actually going to just pop the other one of these back on and link this back up to the electric as well. The reason being because I've got loads of ores and stuff collected up as it is at the moment. So if it just stops for a second, that won't be a problem. And actually, while I'm waiting for that, I am going to cut away again in a second because that will take a while. But I just want to quickly mention this storage solution that we've got here. I'm actually going to, over the sort of course of between the next couple of episodes, I'm going to change this. One of the main reasons is because it's filling up quite fast. And the other reason is because I've done quite a lot of reading up on what we're going to replace it with, and that is the storage drawers. Because the storage drawers are actually a lot more flexible, and they use a thing called the storage drawer controller. So it's just a block that say you've got a load of storage drawers, it's just a block that you can put at the end. You only need to have one piece of transfer pipe rather than transfer pipes into everything. So in terms of where this at the moment, when we're down here, let's just get down here. Oh, right. And just jump over to the back just so that you can see what I mean. Now it's got some speed upgrades in, so it's working quite fast, but where this is searching for inventories, it's actually looking at every single cache, trying to find the one at the moment that's got gunpowder in it, and so on and so forth. Now, if we're just sending everything into the drawer controller, it'll only have one inventory that it's got to look for, and it'll just dump it in there, and then the drawer controller will do the rest. And that is basically exactly what it does. Once it's... I wonder what that was over there then. Once it sort of gets into there, it automatically puts it into the correct place. The drawer controller is upgradable as well, whereas these, I've not found a way to upgrade them yet. If you want to have a cache, you've got to sort of get rid of the old one and put a new one in place, as far as I'm aware. Maybe not, but the flexibility is only such up to increasing the size. You can't put any kind of void upgrade on them, whereas with the storage drawers you can. So yeah, I just overall I think that they're much better, and they've got a massive benefit that there's a thing called compacting drawers. So where you've got ingots, it'll automatically compact them up into blocks, and yeah, it'll save space. And I also think they look quite a lot better. I did like the look of these at the beginning, but yeah, I kind of feel like it's time for a bit of a change. That said, it's not something that I've sort of thought, I'm just going to change it just for the hell of it, because it is going to be a real mission. There's a hell of a lot of stuff in some of these, so quite how I'm going to swap them all over, I'm not really sure yet. I'm perhaps just going to switch off new things coming off and just sort of one by one transfer them over with transfer nodes or something. Possibly the best idea. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So let's go and have a look and see how the machine frame is coming on. I suspect it hasn't finished. I suspect that it is nearly finished. It's quite a way. So let's just cut away and let that finish its last little bit. And when we come back, we can put together the induction smelter. Okay, and that is now finished. So let's grab that out, and we'll grab I've just put some iron in here to make some plates. We'll just grab that on the way past, and then we need to go and grab a couple of pieces of redstone for the reception coil, and we've got everything we need then to put this together. So where did I put my redstone? There it is. So we'll pop over to the crafting table and piece of redstone there, piece of redstone there, bit of gold. There's our reception coil. And we've got our ingots. So I think we just need the bucket. And that's the bucket. So that goes up there. This goes here. The 2 gears. The couple of pieces of invar, which I do seem to have misplaced currently. It's okay. I know that we've got some down in the chest. I think actually I threw it into the smeltery, didn't I? So there we go. 2 bits of invar. Pop that in there as well. The machine frame, and there is our induction smelter. Excellent. So we're going to pop that down over here with the other thermal expansion machine, the pulverizer, and we'll stick some power on top of that. I don't think I've got any wire, but we have got some electrum somewhere. I'm kind of hoping. Let's just sprint back over here and just see if we've got any electrum anywhere, which would be really... Oh, we need some treated sticks for that, and it's not going to be in there. Oh, this would be really unfortunate if we don't have any electrum now. Have to wait for something else to finish. Say that we've got some down here, which we have, which will be enough because we only need 4 pieces. So let's just grab that and put it in the right place. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 treated stick, and that will give us 2 MV wire coils. So let's now go the right way. Oh dearie me, I don't know what's happening there. That was a bit strange. I think that must have been some kind of weird server lag. So let's just link that up, and that should now start to fill up with power, which it is. So now we've got the induction smelter up and ready to go. And that is, unfortunately, all we're going to have time for in this episode. So, yeah, we've managed to make 1 machine, but it all counts, right? The thing is, when I did this first time around, I had a lot more stuff prepared up front, so it kind of made it go a little bit faster. But I won't be making that mistake again, and I hope you've enjoyed the video despite all that. If you have, it'd be great if you left me a like, and until next time, take care. Bye.